Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
When you are ordained at the Hebrew Union College, during ordination, they produce a booklet of all of the ordinees, and each graduate gets to write a brief personal statement, which is complemented with some type of quote or teaching from sacred Jewish literature or modern Jewish literature. And I want to share with you what I used over a decade ago. And before I read it, I want to give you a little context of the story. So this is from 19 letters. It was written by Rabbi Hirsch, and I'll get to him in a moment. But he was sharing the correspondences between two people. Someone named Naphtali, and the other person was named Benjamin. And the scene takes place in the 19th century German-speaking lands, when in these areas, especially in Berlin, it was a great period for enlightenment. And many Jews wanted to refute their own Jewishness. They wanted to go to the salons. They wanted to hang out in academic societies. What they believed was that their Judaism was a shackle from preventing them from enjoying all of life's things to offer. And Naphtali would send these letters to Benjamin, who was an observant Jew. And finally, Benjamin had the ultimate response because Naphtali was refuting his Judaism. And here's the paragraph that was in my section of becoming a rabbi over a decade ago. And this is the response to Naphtali, who refuted his Judaism. Be a Jew, a true Jew. Strive for the ideal of the real Jew, the fulfillment of the Torah in justice and loving kindness. Seek to command respect because of your Jewishness, not in spite of it. Understand your own Jewishness and spread its true meaning among your non-Jewish brethren. Through your words and even more, through your way of life. Again, I would say, practice righteousness and loving kindness as the Torah teaches you. Be fair in action, truthful in speech, bear love in your heart for your non-Jewish brethren. As the Torah teaches you, feed their hungry, clothe their naked, comfort their suffering, heal their sick, counsel the misguided, assist them by word and deed. In short, display the entire noble breadth of your Judaism. That's my favorite quote in the canon of sacred Jewish literature, but I want to confess, the correspondences between Naphtali and Benjamin, they're not real. However, Rabbi Hirsch wrote them because Rabbi Hirsch saw too many people refuting their own Judaism because he was so dismayed how they thought it was a shackle. But the main question is, who is Rabbi Hirsch? Rabbi Hirsch is the father of modern Orthodox Judaism. This is not from Rabbi Geiger or Zacharias Frankel. Geiger, Reformed, Frankel, Conservative. This is from Hirsch, the father of modern Orthodox Judaism, who said, guys, we get to rejoice in our Judaism, not in spite of it. We don't refute it. We live it. All hot kama v'kama, all the more so, even with orthodoxy, we are commanded to engage in the non-Jewish world to show our Jewishness matters locally and outside. To be inclusive and to be an engaging community, this is how we rejoice in our Judaism. The first time I ever delivered a Devar Torah outside of a synagogue as a rabbi was at the San Diego Federation. I shared them this quote because this is what I believed in the essence of Judaism and the passion of Judaism, is that we get to rejoice. We get to celebrate. We get to engage in mitzvot. We get to comfort those who have passed a loved one. We get to visit people in the hospital. We get to celebrate through weddings and b'nai mitzvahs, to observe Shabbat. This is how we get to rejoice. It is a gift. Is it a gift from God? It's a bracha. What a gift. And then we saw the Academy Awards last week. Full disclosure, I couldn't recognize. Let me take that back. I didn't see one of the films that was nominated. I didn't know who Jonathan Glazer was until he made those comments. But here's the thing. Maybe a couple months ago I would have pounded the podium. Maybe 2 years ago I would have pounded the podium, but not tonight. Mr. Glazer, he got hit hard from Holocaust survivors regarding his Judaism. He went up there to refute it. He couldn't use his Judaism because of the ongoing genocide that's happening in Gaza and Judea and Samaria. I don't want to push him away. We got to figure out how to bring him back in. And the first thing I would say to him, despite all of Israel's shortcomings, there's no genocide. The populations in Gaza and Judea and Samaria, they've only increased through the years. So that's the first thing. But the second thing, when he said those words, I said to Rachel, that's not what shocked me. It was the applause that happened after. That's what crushed me. In a room, auditorium room, filled with many Jews, that's what we heard. 2024, none of us could have ever imagined such a response. But I don't think we have the energy to go after Mr. Glazer. It's hard for us to go and use our energy to go after Jewish groups who are not in line with the Jewish message of today. So we have to figure out how to bring them in. And so when I read Hirsch's teaching, it hit me. That as difficult it is to be Jewish today, we're still here. We get to celebrate our tradition in this country. We get to observe Shabbat. We get to honor incredible temple programs. So, Mr. Glazer, you grew up in a Jewish household. You've been to Israel. You were on a kibbutz. I did some research. But I want to bring you into our tent. A tent that can celebrate debating while being respectful. A tent that understands the complexities of the human condition and the complexities of our indigenous homeland, which we don't refute. I want to bring us into our tent where you can come and pray and sing and be with our people and pray for peace, which we do every single day in Judaism. Shalom Rav, Oseh Shalom. We're all about peace. And so this is for you, Mr. Glazer, and every Jew who wants to refute their Jewishness because of what they think is happening in the world. War is awful. But that doesn't mean we stop doing our commitment. For 2,000 years, we were able to survive because we found a way to rejoice. And to those who clapped, you're clapping to refute. But we're still here, and we're still rejoicing. So when you leave Shabbat tonight, when you're with your families and you engage the work week, whatever that looks like, the new tactic is recommit, rejoice, reestablish. We can have fun with the re's. But we as Temple Emanu-El, we as a historic Jewish community, we don't refute. We respond as Hirsch told us to do. We're going to respond by being fair in action, truthful in speech. We're going to respond by bearing love in our heart for our non-Jewish community. We're going to feed the hungry. We're going to clothe the naked. We're going to comfort our community suffering. We're going to heal the sick. We're going to rejoice by assisting them by word and deed. This is how we display the entire noble breadth of our Judaism in 2024. Go rejoice. Find that smile, because we're still here. And we're never going to refute something that has been with us for thousands of years. Shabbat Shalom.